Okay, all right. Let me move this into the light real quick. So, this is I had to write it down because they wouldn't give me their privacy policy, so I had to look it up and write it down off of my phone. Because again, we're not from here. Like, our home is in Colorado. We are technically just visiting Grandpa. Like, right? We're visiting Grandpa, and then we're gonna be going back to Colorado here soon. It's gonna be much sooner now. We were planning on moving out here, but with literally like the people who are supposed to protect you not, they're clearly violating our rights. Like, the reason this is important, like, you are literally giving me PTSD. You are bringing back horrible, 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 horrible trauma from my childhood. Okay, like, you are eventually going to find out about that. You have no right to that information, but it is extremely relevant because the officer misconduct is in, it's directly related to my childhood, and you guys are not in any way, shape, or form making me or my family feel safe. So you are denying us that very basic human right. Like, that's a God-given right. That's a constitutionally protected right, and you are denying us that. So that is why I am pressing charges against those two officers I already mentioned, and that's why I'm also pressing charges against at least the police department, because you guys are allowing this, and you guys are training your officers to do this, and you have been for at least the last 20 years, according to Officer Johnny Raymond, because that's how long Supervisor Michael Top has been in law enforcement for at least over 20 years, is what he stated. But so these are the so this is something I wrote way back when it first happened, literally day of it happening. While we were writing in the car, I'm looking up their policy and I'm writing it down. Right, I was pissed. Okay. So this is pulled straight from their privacy policy. Okay. There are 10 separate rights explained in detail on the company's website. They are in direct violation of each of the bullets listed. A separate charge will be listed for each of them. They are listed specifically under your privacy choices on their privacy policy. I'm pretty sure it's on the terms of use as well, but very specifically it's in the privacy policy. Right? So number 1, request information about our processing of your information. So when I ask you to pull up your privacy policy, so that way I can see, right, or your photography policy, so that way I can see what you guys are doing and how you guys, right? Like, I have that right. You tell me I have that right in your policy, right? But you're denying me that right when I go and I ask for that. So again, that's number 1. You're not displaying the information anywhere. That's disability rights, abuse against the elderly. That's a whole bunch of actual violations against human rights, and those are punishable at the state and federal level. Right? There are state charges for human rights violations, as I told the officer already, who, like I said, he chose to tell me, no, I don't think so, so many different times. Right? No, I don't think so. No. Right? Like, you don't know. I went and I looked this up. I went out of my way. Like, I know the law. Right? Like, when I move to a new place, I'm very specifically look up the laws as to what I can and can't do in that area, because I'm either not going to move there if I don't like the laws there, or I'm going to be like, okay, you know what? Yeah, this is cool. I like this. I agree with what they believe in, right? Like, but no, you proved without a shadow of a doubt your Lewiston Police Department is not only going to deny us our rights, but you're going to harass us and drive in front of our house when we didn't call you, and you have 40 other thousand people to go and protect. According to Johnny Raymond, right? You're 5 officers, right? Because you're so understaffed. You have absolutely no right in front of my house when your police department is nowhere near where we live. So, but because of this, because of the harassment, we are eventually going to move from here. I'm literally just going to be saving up some money, and we're gonna GTFO. But I'm gonna conclude the business here. But number 2, request a copy of your personal information. So how many times did I do that? How many times? Literally, I did it on April 1st at the cashier level, at the manager level, at HR. I spoke with Human Resources, and I spoke with Kurt Wicke, right? Right? That's the attorney with the company. Okay? And then let's see. So that's day 1. And there was May 27th. That's the date of the second incident involved. Very, very basically just asked for the information very peacefully. And I have a video of the lady, her name is Mindy, who violated my rights in multiple ways, but in that recording, she tells me to leave the premises while I am conducting a federally protected activity, right, against the law. But thankfully, I have it on recording because they're not going to give me their recordings unless I subpoena it, right? Or unless an officer of the law were to go with me because I actually have proof of a crime, which that's what you can do in Colorado. I looked it up here in Idaho. You can actually do the same thing because their laws are literally identical, right? That's why we moved here. We have family here. We came back to family, but we're going to leave family because of the ignorance of the local populace. Hold on one sec.
Okay.
Number 3, rectify, correct, or update the information we hold about you. I'll talk to you in a little bit about that, baby, okay? All right, so when we tell you, day of the incident, we don't want you to have that, delete that information, give it to us. You don't even have to delete it, right? But give it to us because you don't have right to that, right? Let us cancel the order here. Let us go to the line over there, right? Like I said all this verbatim to them. I gave them multiple chances, right? They denied every single time. Day 1, day 2, and now today is day 3. I went today. I have actual video. The manager today was a male, violated my rights. I gotta look up his name. I think his name starts with a C. It might be Charles or Chuck or something. I don't know. I gotta look that up. Don't quote me verbatim on that. It was a long day. I was literally standing outside in the sun until I realized that the manager told me that I could literally. He told me to call the cops because he was violating my rights. He thought it was funny the entire time. Like I have him literally laughing at the fact that he's violating my rights, right, and refusing me service, right, while I'm conducting a constitutionally protected activity. So there's that. But yeah. So April 1st, March 27th, or May 27th, and then today. So today is what? June 11th. 3 separate days, 3 separate incidents. Number 4, request deletion of your information. That is literally from day 1. That's what we've been trying to do. And you people won't let us do that. Right? All of this is very, very important. I'll explain that here in just a second, right? But let's go to number 5. We get to opt out of sales of personal information or sharing of personal information for cross-context behavioral advertising purposes, as these terms are defined under applicable law. So those 16 people that I told you, bare minimum, it could be anywhere from 16 people to thousands, tens of thousands of people, right? They are selling and sharing this information to every single one of those people without our consent, without our knowledge, right? Until I found out, right? And then I was like, hey, no, you need to stop. And they still won't, right? But again, they're hiding this from everybody, which is a clear violation of multiple laws, state and federal, which I've tried to get prosecution for, and the local PD says no. But again, we get to opt out of sales and sharing because this is in their policy. We will sell and share your information because you come in our store, we get to record you, we get to record your body, anything you say, right? Because we record audio and visual. Any digital information you send to us, whether it's through email or whether someone else, like there's literally a thing in there that states if your neighbor gives us your information because they want to give you a birthday card, then you're screwed. You have no say. That is our information now, right? And all that your neighbor was trying to do was just be nice and send you a gift, a birthday card from their store, right? But they have all of this protected because they are knowingly farming your information, right? They state in their clause that they go through your social media and they look for all the information that they can't find that you don't provide in store, right? Literally, the only thing that they don't get from you is your social security number. However, I was unfortunate enough to apply for a job when I first came here because, I'm trying to be a productive member of society. And I'm trying to make sure that I, can pay the bills and I can pay, taxes and not go to jail, right? Like, I'm trying to be productive, right? So I apply with them. Unknowingly, they're going to sell all of the information that I provided. So that's another reason why I'm upset, because I have the right to legally do like steps 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Just like my wife does, because they stole her information as well. And they're not allowing us to. So that's why all the stuff that applies to her, it applies to me as well. You're not just violating her rights, you're violating my rights as well. And that's what your officers don't understand. It's not just it's her, she needs to. No, I'm fucking doing it for both of us. I legally have that right. I will tell you more about that later, but let's go back to this before I run out of space. So, number 6, opt out of certain profiling activities because they knowingly will build a profile. They profile you. They state so on their freaking website. And the more exotic you are, the better, because they can sell you to more different. You fit in this category now. You fit in this category, this category, You're not just a boring white person from Idaho. We are black. We are Native American. We have European descent, right? Like, you don't have that here, right? Like, your farming community, like, we come from Colorado. When you go and write down our Colorado personal information, that we get put in a different category. Like, oh, look at the people that travel here. So now you get to go and get sales and services from all kinds of people that you normally wouldn't, right? If you find out that someone's European, oh, you get to offer European candies and cakes and all kinds of stuff in your stores, just like what's the Aldi, right? Aldi does it. And what are those stores that your mom likes to never mind, that's besides the point. That's for a different conversation. Her mom's a fiend. She's a insane shopper. She finds the best deals. Let's go back to the list. So, number 7, restrict or limit the use of your information. What have we been trying to do since day one? Literally, like, the instance that I realized what you were doing, I tried to kibosh that. I tried to stop it. And you are going against not only your policy, but you're going against both state and federal law in doing so. And I'm trying to reach out to the local police, but they refuse to do anything. So as far as I'm concerned, they're as guilty as you are, because they're aiding and abetting you. They're literally, this is conspiracy, this is collusion, this is corruption, this is however you want to put it. So the charges that are, like I said, everything that applies to my wife applies to me. So that's why we have at least three separate lawsuits for North 40. And then we have at least 3 separate lawsuits against your police department. So let's see. Number 8, ask that we transfer the personal information you gave us to another organization or to you that is in their policy in certain circumstances, because all of this is referred to as data portability, right? We have that legal right to choose what happens with our data, with our information, right? The data accessibility is what the right that you guys are denying us when we're asking to have access to this information, right? Like, these are actual rights, actual constitutional rights. Just because you don't know about it does not mean that the Supreme Court hasn't ruled on it. Does not mean that in 19 blah 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 there wasn't a treaty or an act or something that you don't know about that was passed that legally says that we have these God-given rights, that we have these constitutionally protected rights, right? You can't override that. You are a state official, cannot override the U.S. Constitution. You swore an oath first to the U.S. Constitution, and then in Idaho, you swore an oath to that Constitution after the fact. Article 4, Clause 2 of the Constitution states that the states cannot go and pass laws that are not in the Constitution. So when you choose to not follow constitutional law, you're breaking the law. When you go and you make a law in Idaho specifically that goes against what the Constitution goes against, it's an invalid law. I don't mind challenging you on this because, like I said, it's in their policy and it's in the Constitution as well at both the state and the federal level. So let's go to 9 because I only have 5 minutes of video left, right? Where you have provided consent, withdraw such consent to our processing of your personal information at any time. That is literally, I believe it's 4th Amendment right to revoke consent. I will have to double check that, but I'm like 95% sure that that's the proper amendment. See, so that's the Constitution. That's not right. There are state laws that back that up, but the Constitution very specifically states that we have the right to revoke consent. So when we go into your place of business and we notice that you're doing something illegal, we have the right to refuse to do business there, right? We have the right to cancel said order, to delete that information, to make sure that you don't have anything of ours, right? Because that's our legal right. It's not your legal right, it's ours. That's ours. That was given to us, not to you, to us. We own that. We had to pay for those licenses and all that. Like, we had to pay the fees, not you. Very specifically, if you have to pay for international papers, like those papers are hella expensive. You don't have right to that. But let's go back to number 10 real quick. Let's get to the last one on there. Your privacy choices, okay? Not be lawfully discriminated for exercising your rights, because again, that's a 14th Amendment violation. So that's federal law. That's not just a silly statute. No, that's federal law. That is law of the land. And you did. Every single day, right? Every single instance. I have video of your manager literally laughing at the fact that my constitutionally protected rights are being violated, and he's refusing us service. So, again, all of this is because Officer Michael Top, badge number 430 of the Lewiston Police Department, and Johnny Raymond. His badge number is either 514 or 54. I'm pretty sure it's 514, not 541. But Johnny Raymond, who is the subordinate of I'm tired. It's late. Of Michael. There we go.